Hey Peaches, today's Pick a Card Tarot reading is all about how to find your strength. We're going to pull a card to find out what is your unique strength, what it is that's blocking you from using it, and then how you can use it to manifest what it is that you want. Okay, so let's get to it. Here are the stacks. You have stack 1 is the deer, stack 2 is the fish, and stack 3 is the skunk. Alright, stack 1, the deer, you're up. You have the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, and the 8 of Cups. And then you have Don't Worry. Okay, so your unique strength is the 8 of Cups with Don't Worry. Okay, so some people they get stuck in situations where they're faced with a challenge or a closed door, and they don't know whether this calls for like perseverance, patience, effort, or whether this is just not their door and they have to go find theirs, right? And that's not you. You have a keen ability to know when something is meant for you or not. So you're not someone to stay stuck playing the what if game. You know your worth and you don't compromise yourself and settle when someone is giving you scraps. I don't think you're one to give in to unproductive worrying, but rather prefer to take action. I'd say you move towards what you want in times when it isn't moving towards you fast enough, and you seem to be in charge of finding or creating, or at least searching for your own happiness rather than expecting it as a given that it's just going to fall in your lap. And there's a courage to take risks here as well, and at the same time, not a non-recklessness. Okay, so you're not a wallower. You have the strength to say, okay, what steps do I need to take? Check in with your intuition and then take those steps. Okay. So what might be blocking you from accessing that right now? The 3 of Swords. So even while you have this agility to walk away when something isn't for you, you still have a heart and you have feelings and you need to process some grief or some heartbreak first. So don't rush yourself to honor your pain. When we're grieving, we aren't at our strongest, and that's normal, okay? Sometimes the 8 of Cups can represent the search for more when something hasn't been enough or has gone as far as it can, but then there's those losses that aren't like that. Some things just aren't in our control. Much as I like to use the cards to access as much control as we can have, it's never 100% in life. So it's these areas where you truly do not have control that the type of strength you have here will serve you the most, actually, and is at the same time the hardest to tap into. So to unblock it, don't hurry yourself or judge your resilience. Process the hurt at your pace, or maybe even with help. Every time the 3 of Swords come up, I'm not afraid to mention therapy, which brings me to how you use it to manifest what it is you want, or to regain yet forward motion. With the 3 of Cups, reach out to the people that know you and understand you best for support. So the people that already know the strength in you, and they can remind you, they can hold space for you, and they can allow you to process, help you to process, but then not let you get stuck there, to nudge you forward when it's time, but only when you're good and ready. And this can also represent some healthy distraction, like getting out around people so you don't run aground in isolation or create too much of an echo chamber of your own thoughts. Getting outside of yourself at some stage will help the process. It may remind you or inspire you towards your next goal or desire. So that may be part of why you can't access the strength, because this heartbreak has blocked out that calling or that feeling of being called towards something. And getting out among like-minded or kindred spirits could get you in range of hearing it again. Or someone you know may have been through the same thing and have a story of victory to tell that reignites your idea of what's possible on the other side of this. Okay, so reach out to your friends, okay? And if you want me to pull one more card for clarification on your specific situation, comment stack 1, and in the comments I'll pull a card and I'll get you a clarifier, okay? Thank you so much. All right, stack 2, the fish, you're up. So you have the Seven of Wands, Death and Rebirth, the Four of Cups with acceptance. Okay. All right, I've got the cat on my lap already this time, so she won't interrupt, hopefully. So your unique strength, it reminds me of MacGyver, okay? I know I'm old, but hopefully he's an iconic enough character that you know what I'm talking about. He didn't have to have exact specialized equipment or tools to save the day. He found a way with whatever random stuff was at hand. A rubber band, a paperclip, and a piece of gum, you know what I'm saying? It's a little like magician energy, except that while the magician has everything he needs, as they always say, you may have a bunch of mismatched, motley, ragtag resources, and you make it work anyway with your genius. And so the Four of Cups, it's an emotional energy. So this isn't like necessarily talking about mechanical or physical know-how. Cat, stay put. It's about being able to stay rooted in reality and get clear on the situation as it is, because it's only from that place of acceptance that you can take accurately strategized action. The ability to find opportunities in challenges, like to see an empty space to be filled with something better when something is taken away, or to tenaciously demand of life that it compensate you with wisdom of some sort in exchange for all it's put you through. All right, but what might be blocking you from that right now? It's a pretty major transition. So, okay, there are frogs that freeze to the point where their heart stops all winter long. That's how they survive the winter. And in spring, they hop away. And there's many of the examples of this in nature where, like, to pass through a brutal change of environment, they tuck in, they batten down, they shut things down, shut systems down. It's time to call in every bit of energy and roll into a tight ball and squeeze through this portal. It's not a growth energy. The butterfly, it doesn't just sprout wings. It liquefies and rebuilds from soup. So this is survival mode. In tarot, death energy strips you down to nothing, and you have to walk through the transition spiritually naked, for lack of a better word, and come out the other side, I guess, like purified of all that can't come with you into this new phase. So it's a time for letting go, not gathering, building, or pushing further down the old dead-end path. All right, I gotta turn this cat around. I know. You face the other way, please. Thank you. Okay. So you have this acceptance of who you are, acceptance of the reality you're working with, acceptance of what you have to surrender. So it's accepting that you may not be able to impress everyone right now, help anyone else right now, or be who others have always known you to be right now. Oh, shit. Like that. Or like always be in an unnatural state of perpetual growth and forward motion. At some point we have to shed, or we become like those poor sheep that you can't find in their massive mounds of matted wool. Plants have to be pruned so they don't grow, or they don't grow right. So it's like, you get the idea. All you have to do is get through it in one piece. Okay. And how to access it, to get what you want, how to use your strength, the Seven of Wands. So while you are in this vulnerable state of transition, like a sleeping bear, don't let the people that have their own expectations of you make you forget who you are just because you can't be that for them right now. It's like, you're the best version of yourself you can be right now. 100% is always 100%. It's not, it's just that 100% of what that changes. So if you're going 100% and the of what is less, you haven't lost that strength. If anyone's disappointed, that's their problem. You don't have to try to move through this transition with your wings out on display. The idea is to make it through in one piece, not have them burned off because you didn't tuck them in safely. Does that make sense? Anyway, the idea about this death energy, this transition that you're going through, it's to shed, but it's not to shed your core values, your core truth, or your core strength. So I know I've been weaving in and out of metaphors like a reckless driver. I'm sorry. So anyway, but there's this acceptance again. So accept that you can't be perfect right now. You're showing up even though you're going through a hell of a squeeze. And so what if it's not pretty? That's not your problem, okay? That's pretty much the takeaway. So if you want me to pull one more card as a clarifier for you, comment stack 2, and I will pull one more card to make it just a little bit more specific to you and see how it applies if you need just a little bit more, okay? Thank you so much. All right, stack 3, the little skunk, you're up. You have the 6 of Swords and Strength. Princess of Pentacles with, get my thumb out of the way, Tolerance. All right, so your unique strength with the Princess of Pentacles. So you're really in tune with your body and all the ways that it communicates, not just about what it needs practically, but it can also alert you to like emotional imbalances early on. I think you know how to find out what you don't know. I mean, with Tolerance, it's like you don't judge. You're more interested in learning more about what you don't understand. So it seems like you have the wisdom that if something is weird to you, there might just be more that you can know. You have an expansive energy, always looking for new ways and directions to grow. It's like everything seems like potential food for thought, and anything and everything can nourish your evolution in some way if you allow it to. And I would say you're able to harness cycles because of that balanced approach that you were able at some point to be an observer in a situation and unlock the patterns of it. And so by being unafraid and seeing the bigger picture, now you have more wisdom than before. It's like, I can just hear you saying as a kid, like, I want to see. So like in high school, you got some kids that will like shrink away from dissecting the frog in biology, and you were all about it, like for the sake of knowing, even though it was gross. So it's those open eyes. That's your unique strength. And what might be blocking it right now? It sounds ironic at first, but let me explain. To have strength is the blockage to your strength. It does make sense actually, because this energy represents an exquisitely delicate dance between effort and allowance. So having tolerance here, there's a sense that you may be trying way too hard. Okay, it's like okay, you know how a turkey baster works, or those little bulbs that clean baby noses. You squeeze them so they suction. It's like you squeeze it first to let the air out, then you gently release to let the vacuum pull out or draw out what it is that you're trying to take in. So all push doesn't do it. It's the push and then the release. So I'm feeling for some of you a fear of being forgotten and not giving someone enough space to miss you, or the fear of losing something could be creating the very behavior that's pushing it away. There's a sense of wanting to dominate a situation that would be better served by a lighter touch, maybe. So I feel that for some of you, because of this Princess of Pentacles energy, you may feel like you know best, and you probably do, but someone needs to be allowed to learn something for themselves the same way you did. So for others of you, you may be relying on practical knowledge when the situation calls for a more intuitive or creative situation. So how you can best use your strength here, you have the 6 of Swords, and I feel like you definitely have something to share or teach in the situation, but it's going to get across more effectively by example than by telling. So I would say use that analytical power that you have to figure out how things work, but in this case, use it to read the room. How can you use your power of observation to figure out where someone is and then how you can meet them there? I actually feel like you may be a teacher, and this is a weird situation where the student has something to teach you about your craft. Actually, that's probably not that weird. Now that I think about it, now that I think about what teachers say about their job and how much they learn by doing it. Anyway, your curiosity will serve you well if you unleash it on striking this delicate balance, like by learning the steps to this interpersonal dance, letting them take the lead. It's like, instead of imparting the knowledge in its like developed form directly, you're planting the seed that they're going to nurture, and then when it sprouts, it becomes their accomplishment. And then what your accomplishment, it wasn't cramming the wisdom into them, but it was figuring out how to get them to open up and to take it out of your hands. And I don't think you're going to be able to just turn off this reading and go do it. It's like there's a period of study. You're going to have to study your subjects, study the energy, study the situation. And with Princess of Pentacles as your unique strength, you will know exactly how to use the data once you have it. Okay. If you would like for me to pull one more card as a clarifier for you specifically, comment stack 3 and I will pull one more card to get a little bit narrowed down for what's going on with you. Okay. Thank you.